Yeah, I think so.
Apparently we're live.
Got a little box appeared on my screen. It's looking good.
Yeah. Where are we waiting? Andy, I see shitting, all wanking.
He's doing his screen hand shuffle, but it's taking a little while to finish off.
Editor, feel free to cut everything out before the intro. Good evening, everyone. You're getting a little bit a taste of what it's like for the bonus podcast. Yeah, this is what we do. We sit around and wait for Andy RC.
We live then?
Yeah.
I can't see it.
I've got it up.
That's what she said.
Bloody hell, this is a teenager.
That's not good. Are you at least 16 yet? Or am I going to jail for that one? Oh, that's okay. We're fine.
Oh my god.
Yeah, welcome to LDO.
I know.
We do apologise. Look, Dave's story in this chat has already put poor Kelsey, and I'm muting it because I just mucked that up. Sorry. Poor Kelsey, laugh out loud. Sorry, everyone. Right, Jack, go. Where is Andy?
We're waiting for him. We're going to wait.
Where is Andy RC? We thought we'd include our audience with us as we wait impatiently for Andy RC to finish off whatever he might be doing.
Apparently there's a big loop of echo.
Oh, not again.
Everyone has
an echo. Normally we hear it if there's an echo, don't we?
I can't hear nothing.
Jack, are you putting this all through OBS? Is that what introduces the echo?
Stop talking.
Why don't we talk one by one and see if there's an echo?
That should fix it. Tell me if it's fixed, and if you've heard this bit, type the word boner into the thing.
It says Curry sounds like Darth Vader. Sorry, I'll get there in the end. Jack, I am your father.
He'd probably like that. Are we?
Yes, you can tell it's wrong because Frank's not here.
In the chat, please tell us.
Right, that should that fixed it definitely.
No one's told us in the chat. We're all Jack.
Type the word fish finger.
Fish finger.
No, type the word chrysanthemum.
Fish finger if it's fixed.
That was my first word I ever spoke.
What, fish finger?
No, chrysanthemum went down here from them, didn't it?
They are wrong.
Spot on, yeah. Sorry, that was my bad. I should have really thought about it.
Sounding better in the chat, they say.
Yeah.
Are you going to introduce us, or are we just literally waiting?
No, because it's more work for the editor. We're waiting for Andy RC.
Hang on.
And then I'll start.
Andy's saying there's no link. It's the normal link.
Normal link.
Help.
I will send him the link.
Yeah, because we've only been doing this 4 years.
Yes, to be fair, the link did change in the last 6 months or so. Although it is the same link every time. Here he is.
Hey.
He's back. Hopefully he's washed his hands and he's ready to go.
Washed my hands? What are you talking about?
Nothing.
Wanking or shitting. We placed a bet. Tell them what it is.
What are you talking about?
Why are you
Wanking.
late?
Why am I
while
late?
shitting.
Yeah.
Doing my job, mate. Finishing work, you know? I have a job, sort of.
Right, apologise to the people for making them wait 15 minutes.
Was it 15 minutes?
Yeah.
What? Are you saying that I carry the show? Otherwise I have to...
Why do you think we let you on every week? You're the only one who talks about drones incessantly.
Oh, look at all... Oh, we've got Kelsey. Awesome. Look at all those doctors.
I know, you reminded me about her, and then I thought, I know, we'll get her on, because you made me laugh.
How many are those all yours, Kelsey? All those...
Hold on. Let's start the show and then we can start talking.
What? Wait, you haven't started the show even.
No, we've
We
been
were
waiting
waiting for you.
Yeah, they were all waiting
Right.
for you.
All right, ready. Right.
And action.
I don't know if YouTube people do that. Hello and welcome to another wonderful episode of Let's Drone Out. Tonight it is a treat especial. I have decided to invent 3 new segments to the show.
Oh Jesus!
We're going to be.
How many of them
No
involve
one
me,
knows about
Jack?
this either.
One of them involves you.
Only one, right?
Yeah.
One's. I'm
One of
fine
them
with-
involves Frank, who's not here.
Why is Frank not here? How come he's allowed to not be here, but I'm not? It's not
I'm
fair.
forced into it. Says.
I want equality
Yo,
here, please.
Okay, I've turned my mic up. Is that better? Thanks, guys. Dave, keep me up to date on that. Tonight we are joined by my little Tony,
Bonjour.
Kelsey FPV.
Is she muted?
It's just the part where you're supposed to speak,
Oh, did you
Kelsey.
say my name? It completely froze then. Sorry.
I think she was just ignoring you on
Don't-
purpose.
Don't,
Jack.
Ignore the fact
hang on.
teenagers
Does this
have
help?
low
I literally-
concentration
Kelsey
ability.
FPV. Ah,
I literally heard E and that was it.
Babby
Does
Z.
it help if I
Introduce
talk
her
like
as
a
Babby
seagull?
Z. Babby Z FPV.
Is it Kelsey that gets to be the blob this week? Then
Mm.
I don't think I'm a blob, am I? Or am I a blob as well?
Mikey Dread's in the chat. Oh God, have we even finished this intro?
We did well. We got to
Oh,
one
it's
person in the
freezing.
intro, then it went wrong on the second one.
Tonight we
Keep
are joined
going,
by
Jake, you're doing well.
Kelsey FPV.
Now she's
No.
just ignoring
I
you.
literally can't hear.
I'm not sure it's working for her, guys. It's not
Yeah,
doing.
It's freezing.
It's not doing Northern Internet any justice, is it? This? It's funny though how we're both. It's funny how we're both north, yet mine's coming through fine though. Jack.
Yeah.
Basically, Andy is taking all the bandwidth for the north of the country, and
All right.
Kelsey's left with a dial-up modem.
All right, hang on. We'll do.
No, but it's dead weird because the Wi-Fi's literally in the room next to me. It's not like it should be bad.
Have you got an Ethernet cable? Plug it in. All right, hang on. Tonight we're joined by Kelsey FPV. Ah, yeah, I'm here. Ah, hold on.
Brilliant.
We're joined by Curry Kitten.
Hello.
Hey, Daddy, how are you? And everyone's favourite. Everyone's favourite EMAC sponsor, brought to you this week by DJI HD FPV, Andy RC.
Hello.
Jesus, your last video on I'm Bright Until I Fly was like Lord of the Rings. It's a whole hour. I went for a
I
piss
loved it.
3 times.
Yeah, but it
Does
was
anyone
like-
else? Anyone in the chat get through that? I'll send you a prize.
Well,
I did.
I
As
was
I told
looking
Andy at the
forward to
time,
it.
I had to get a bucket in case I needed a wee and snacks to get through it.
Fucking hell, man, it was
I totally
unreal.
enjoyed it. Yeah, but Andy's the only one who actually tells it properly and as it is. Like you watch all these other guys going, oh look at me flying, but Andy like lays it on the table and says, look, if you want to do this, it's this. If you want to do that, it's that. I loved it, Andy. Well done to you
I
for
wa-
waiting a month for doing it properly.
I was amazed that I managed to do it with an hour because I think Bruce from RC Model Reviews, he said it'd take 3 hours to review this whole system, and I did it in 59 minutes. That was an accident, by the way. It just so happens.
That's what she said.
But to be honest, like I said to Jack, I was doing it for myself really because it was something that I was interested in. So
Yeah.
it's been out for a couple of months. Probably not going to get the views. No one's going to watch the full hour, but it was.
I watched it.
Did you watch the full hour? Did you, Tom?
Yes, with my cup of tea or coffee. Actually, it was a coffee and my toast. I look forward to it. Like, I was looking forward to your review because, you know, all the others just skip through it and do the. You tell us.
Well,
how it is.
Well, it's not just about telling you how it is. The thing is, it is difficult as how to do a video like that. I enjoyed it, but it's certainly I'm glad it's done because it's a month's worth of work. But I knew I was enjoying it when I hadn't slept for 2 days, because normally when I'm just like doing a normal video and I'm like, I like what I do, but I just go to bed. But with this, I was like, oh, I haven't slept for 2 days. I didn't realize that I had it. Kind of thing.
Is anyone using a browser? I'm going to post a link in the chat. Can everyone like my comment? Because someone goes, DJI goggles revolution in FPV in-depth review, and I wrote the comment, not as deep as Andy RC's review. Sorry, mate. So yeah.
Put that in, yeah, let's do
I
that.
also childishly wrote on Andy's page in the comments, he goes as deep as I did in Tony last night. That was one of my.
That would be a little bit of an insult, because like he went deeper than 2 inches for sure.
You commented on that. That's not showing up. It's probably gone into spam.
Oh no!
Donation.
Oi.
Burn something.
Oh, hello. Thank you, Rob Britton.
Rob Britton with a weird £3.67.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
Thank you very much. That is literally blow it out halfway through.
No, because think about it, right?
He's the only one keeping us afloat.
If it's having to do pence, maybe that's all the money he has in the world. Do you know what I mean?
Well, bless him then.
Well, exactly.
Don't blow it out. Light it and set it free.
So what happened, Tone? What happened with our real guests who aren't Kelsey FPV?
Kelsey's
a real guest. She's really there.
No, she's
Look,
not. I invited her on because she's my friend. And I say that lightly.
She's just bullying you into saying that, though. That's
yeah.
the point.
I'm not bullying anyone.
You bullied the shit out of me. I don't know what you're on about.
No, you bullied me.
We saw like marks.
Do friends bully each other? How can you call yourself a friend if you're bullying?
Can you tell the story about Bill? And I was chatting.
Oh, I've got authorization to tell the story of the person's name.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to issue an apology. I made a joke last week that someone didn't find very funny, but in my defence, I said you weren't a paedophile.
Just don't defend yourself, Jack, because it's not going to work.
Oh.
Sorry, someone found it offensive that they weren't called a paedophile. Yeah. Have I got this the right way around? How dare you? I am a paedophile. What are you saying?
You know how Jack words things, though. You know, he does it backwards, so it doesn't matter how you say it. The fact that you've used that word, it's not a word anyone wants their name said in the same sentence.
Fair enough. I do apologise in all sincereness.
Yeah.
Well, should I read the disclaimer?
Yes.
Because of me.
Any guest on this show, especially Jack this week, and not just Andy, our post
not me.
may not reflect the views of the host or any participant of the show. Thank you.
Going back to the plot.
Well, I was chatting to Andy RC.
Well, shall I tell the story? Or, well, you can tell it if you want.
No, you tell it.
So I'm part of a flying club, and usually I have no time at all. I do this from when I wake up till I go to bed. So the only real time that I look at my phone and I've got like 10 missed calls off Jack. 10, not 10, like 2 or 3 missed calls from Jack because I hadn't looked at my phone for a couple of days. So on the drive to no, it's everything, because like that DJI video just consumed everything. Kelsey actually commented, yeah, you can have a go of it, and I've got 2 of them now. So yeah, definitely we'll have to meet up at some point and you can see what you think of it. I'll have to. No, you can bind to it actually with your transfer. You use a Tyrannus, don't you? Yeah, of course you got. same one as me.
Yeah, she's not a total savage.
Do you run? Can I? No, I
It
won't.
sounds like the story's digressed already.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So right, I talked to Jack in the car on the way to the club, right? And so I get to the club, and I've got a car phone, obviously. So I'm talking to Jack on the phone, and I'm sort of looking over at my friend Phil, who instructed me. He like taught me how to fly and everything, and he's like looking at his phone, and I'm concerned because we start at about 6 o'clock, and we've only got like an hour of light. Sorry, 6:30. We only have about an hour of light, and that's reduced now. So it's like outdoors in the summer, and it's got an indoor sports hall in the winter. But anyways, I'm sat talking to Jack, but I'm like, I'm gonna have to go, Jack, because like, the lights like going down. But I'm looking over at Phil. He's looking at his phone. Anyways, I go round over to him, and I just assumed he was like texting or something. But he's watching Tony's live stream with Joker Vision. Like that's how much he really. I think he likes you guys. I mean, I think he gets it. It's funny. But he said to me, I think he asked the question, why are people saying things like, why is Joker locked in his cupboard or something like that? And
boyfriend.
yeah, and so
Free Danny.
So there was all of this going on in the comments apparently, and I explained to Phil that it's because Jack and Tony are best friends, and everyone's making fun. Everyone's making fun at Jack's expense by saying that Joker Vision's the new best friend, and that like he keeps him locked in a cupboard and all of this business. And Phil sort of said to me, Jack and Tony are best friends. What? and then when I said and then I rang Jack and told him the story like a couple of days later, and Jack was just like,
I was fucking crying.
I thought you were rolling,
Oh,
weren't you?
yeah.
That's why you've been in hospital today.
Oh my god, I nearly
He was
shat
crying.
myself.
So
Joker's
yeah.
only the best. What?
yeah.
I remember one time. What event were we at? And then and like they came up and they were like, "Oh my god, you two standing next to each other." Like we got to be separated by Frank or something. We're gonna kill each other.
So I think
it tickled me.
Yeah, well, I think it tickled you because you are best friends, and what's weird is you like best friends, but when in real life you're like that at each other. So I don't. So that's why it's funny. I guess maybe people won't find it funny, but like knowing you and knowing Tony and how you are together off camera, there's no difference, but. Yeah, your best friend. I think that was why.
Friends, like.
Yeah.
That's
he does
why.
Bring me up now and again, and he's like, "You not dead yet?"
But as soon as I told Jack that, he was literally laughing. He couldn't speak. He couldn't speak. So
they're friends.
Yeah, well done, Phil, on that one.
Yeah,
and thanks for letting me tell the story, because it made Jack laugh a lot.
Yeah, that's funny.
So carry on.
Right. Well, I invited Kelsey FPV on because Frank weren't here, and Tony was supposed to have some guests on. Like is it the ripping ovaries bunch?
Yeah, emergencies have happened. Zoe FPV had emergency. Stella Fox couldn't make it, and I think Ryan Mako was happy to come on, but she's going to come on and talk about it when all the girls are free again. So it was like an emergency, and stuff's happened, so they couldn't make it tonight. So
I was impeccably prepared as well. I'd watched all the videos in their playlist. I've got to say, so some great stuff out there. Lots of people I hadn't heard of.
There was.
But
What
we'll
you
talk about it when
mean?
they're on.
What do you mean? That all those people have been on before, haven't they?
No, but their
competitive
playlist for
people.
their competition is about
Oh,
getting
sorry,
girl
got-
FPV
got-
pilots on.
yeah.
So
Got you.
the
Sorry.
stuff that's coming on of people I hadn't heard of is really good stuff.
Cool. Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get them on soon.
Kelsey, are all those your quads in the background? And they're in. Do you know? I was
new room.
I was watching. It's a new room, is it?
Yeah.
In what?
Yeah,
What?
it's
I have
the
to
old
say-
office room. It's like a spare room.
Oh, so
My
yeah,
OCD is very pleased. It's
Yeah.
down
Oh
here
my
because they're all
God.
arranged quite beautifully.
Well, can I
in
just
perfect lines.
say, right? I witnessed Kelsey putting her lipos in her lipo bag, and it was so meticulously done. I was like,
Has Kel's
You
got?
should-
Is she got
Is
little
she, have you
OCD?
OCD,
I
girl?
have to organize things, or else, like, I don't know. It's
Oh my
like we were
God.
putting the 2 chameleons up, and we'd already put one up on the side. And I had told Mum that we had to take the other one off and put the 2 chameleons in symmetry. It's really bad.
So Wayne, meet Kelsey.
Your
You'll get
real daughter.
It absolutely makes perfect sense. Look how lovely they're arranged.
Wayne's got
I
this
approve.
problem. Wayne has this problem, Kelsey. If we all don't sit in the middle of the screen, he gets angry.
I have noticed one problem tonight, and that's the fact that my seat's higher, and so my head's here. And when I go along and look at everybody else, they're sort of downwards a bit, which is
Oh God. you're gonna
triggering me
have
a
to
little bit.
Move our
Somebody-
cameras.
But I
around.
don't know what to do about that. I'll just have to-
Somebody needs to
I'll
dig
just
up
have
your
to
back.
slouch.
Someone needs to dig up your back garden, Wayne, with that kind of thought.
Yo,
I've buried the bodies somewhere else.
I'm gonna
Don't
flash
worry.
this for Tony. Look at that.
Oh,
Oh, and I might
Oh.
even go and troll on the.
let me
old-
rub my knees a minute.
Oh,
Oof.
I might go and troll the. Look how sad this is. This is getting into. Oh my God! I've spent way too much time with Curry Kitten. Look, I fed an OLED screen through one of the hatches.
Oh my God.
Look at that. Look. Oh, I might pretend it's an actual product.
That's
Beautiful.
bloody nice.
Oh, look at that.
That is. When are you going
And-
to fly it?
Found 5mm LEDs to go on the back of it.
Whoop,
I don't
whoop.
know. Whenever it stops raining, I reckon.
No.
I haven't flown
You'd
like
fly that
in
in the
over a
rain.
week because it's been so crap. When it's not been peeing it down with rain, it's been blowing like 40-mile-an-hour wind.
Oh, no.
I don't know if anybody else has managed to get out. I've got a pile of stuff growing, say fly me, but I can't because it's all poo.
No.
Any,
I expect
any
Andy's
ideas?
managed to sneak
Just
out
about
because he's
where?
only like 1 minute away to his flying bit, isn't he?
Any ideas of good like slogans I could put on there, like hashtag free Danny or I don't know. 'Cause the
Don't
other
put
one-
Tony's gay anymore.
Maybe, or Tony's gayer. Now he's got a gay dog.
I can only think of bad things to write, like "This is a
You're gay
bomb, do
dog.
not
It's a
touch" or
female
something.
dog. Well, Tony is still single.
It's gonna crash on the first launch. Thanks.
That's very nice, Eric.
One, I just noticed that one of my favourite things was I can't remember who wrote it, but someone said like blink 3 times to free Danny. I think it was Dave's story. I thought that was quite funny.
Why has my dog actually just got up on my... She's literally up on the top work surface now, walking around. She's
Does
so
anyone want the first
Come on,
segment?
quick, sit down.
So the first segment was story. No, it's 5 minutes with 5 minute Frank, and we talked to.
Oh, is this
Frank for
your
5
pre?
minutes.
Is this your the
Yeah.
thing you're doing?
Yeah, 5 minutes for Frank, and because Kelsey is Frank, Kelsey, you've got to talk to
Right.
us for 5 minutes. Tell us a
Okay.
story or what you've
And-
been up to.
Go.
What do I even talk about?
I don't know,
anything.
just I told
Blackstone,
you.
your 20th position out of the
Didn't-
whole of the world.
Yeah, didn't you
No.
compete in an important competition last week? You could talk about that.
Yeah, last weekend I made it to the British champs, and I don't know how, but I made it to the knockout rounds, even though I literally hadn't practiced racing for like a month.
When you
Because-
say made it, you mean like you have to qualify in some way, and
Yeah.
you make it so it's not a case of registering. You have to qualify just to enter the race, kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's the top 60 on the IFPV League who
Wow.
get invited, and then if, say, one person can't make it, they'll go to the next person until there's 60 pilots. So,
Right. You're in the top 60.
So
Are you?
you
Wow.
yeah,
That's
she was in the top 20.
That's
She
amazing.
got 20th out of all of them.
That's
I was
amazing.
21st.
overall, I think.
That's brilliant.
That's absolutely amazing, isn't it?
Because we did about 10 qualifying rounds, and then after those 10 qualifying rounds, basically the top 24 got into like the knockout rounds. So I don't know how to explain like the race format, but you all got
You had
put
a
into
track
heats.
and you went round it, and whoever went
No, because
quickest
the knockouts
won.
worked really differently because I'd never done it before, where it was like the bottom 3 of that heat got into the losers bracket, top 3 in the winners bracket, and then 2 of the losers brackets raced together. And basically you kind of had like 2 lives, so if you got in the losers bracket twice, you got knocked out. So
I mean, I'm really surprised that me personally, I wouldn't use the word knockout round a northerner like you, because I thought you would have been like, stick the edge in that and be like, he ain't racing anytime soon. I win.
Oh god. No,
I still need to arm wrestle you.
She win.
I
know,
You're
that's
not going
what
to
I-
win that one.
no,
She just
I
eat a
actually
baby's
don't
head
think
and then
so.
wrestle you to the ground.
Babby's
I am
head.
actually the weakest person on this planet. I don't think I've ever won an arm wrestle.
Yeah, but Jack's weak emotionally, so you might be able to knock him. You might be able to like make
Oh,
him
she
so
bullies
weak.
me so hard. Anyway, I've got a question I've always wanted to ask you, and it's a bit of a rumour that I started. Is it true that you killed Tom Smith? Because if so, where is he?
I didn't kill
He's
Tom
back.
Smith.
He's back.
He's
is he?
back.
Oh, what?
He's back.
What happened?
Back. Have you not been?
He
Have
rose
you
from the
not
dead.
watched
Did you keep him in that
Instagram?
room, and then now you were like, right, I need to keep, I need room for quads. Out you go, back into the wild, or
Back
whatever he
into the
does.
hole. Oh
Give
my
it
god.
death.
Yeah, was it Richard's channel or yours where he was flying with you? I can't remember. I watched one of them.
Oh, Rich is so sexy nowadays, isn't he? Have you seen him? See him at that wedding?
He's beefed up, isn't he?
Jesus Christ.
He always,
I
he always
actually
Gay.
flew
You
with
nearly
the
got
day
pregnant
we-
by looking at it,
I
didn't you,
know.
Jack?
I'm nursing a semi right now. I just can't believe it.
What were you saying? What were you saying, Carls, about Rich?
I actually flew with Richard at Crosby Beach the other day. We did some follow footage.
Nice.
So
Wow.
my dad designed a GoPro mount that goes on the bottom of the back of the quad.
Oh, sweet. So you can
So
look
when we-
backwards.
Yeah, so you look backwards, so you'll have a quad following. You can see it.
Can he
So
send me one?
Maybe.
How
I'll ask
come?
him.
Yeah.
Did he 3D print it?
Yeah. So, but yeah, they kind of designed it to fit on my dad's quad, and we were just testing it out really. But we did get some good footage. We've just got to go through it. I've not had time to edit anything.
Yeah, yeah. You were saying like you've got.
It's the first in the world.
Have you had chance to look at the footage? You did some follow footage when we were flying around the windmills. Now, line of sight, that looked amazing. What did that come out like? Or haven't you even gotten to
I
that?
actually don't care. It's not
I
with you.
remember looking at it the day that we got back, and yeah, some of it did actually turn out quite well. So there was
Cool.
some quite close follow footage. Like I said, I just haven't really had time to properly edit everything
Yeah.
because I like started college and it's maths, physics, and engineering.
How you
It's
finding
a
it?
lot of maths.
Oh, you did all the easy subjects. Easy.
It's a lot of maths. That's all I can say.
Yeah. It's not that.
my weakest subject. To be fair, all of the subjects are my weakest ones, but those two.
Talking is not. Let's have a look at the stats while we're here. Information.
No, you can't bully.
Well, I don't think anybody can beat my exam results. Doing the last year of O levels, I managed to get 4 U's amongst my other results, which I think
Isn't
quite
a
impressive.
U
impressive.
just like
Oh my
when
God,
you
you're
just
pretty
turn up and
historic.
put your name on the paper and sit there for an hour?
No, that's spelling your name wrong as well, and like throwing a cock on the page or something like that. That's pretty much what a U is. It's
Got
like
you.
it's ungradable.
I got
You can't
quite
do
a lot
anything
of
with
them.
that. How many did you get, Tony?
Quite a lot of them ones.
I think I've
The
got
new ones.
I got like 5 C's, and that's like and 2 of those I had to retake 3 times. So yeah, I failed maths and English, which should be no surprise. And I retook English once and got a C. I retook maths 3 times, and on the 3rd go, I got a C.
I remember just having
Yeah.
a lot of E's. That's kind of time.
That's probably what stopped you passing your exams.
Was that the? Yeah, I was going to say, is that in the pill form or what?
And in the chat, let's have a look through the chat, shall we? Shall we have a shout out quickly?
Yeah.
Go on then.
And shall I
Why
do
not?
my segment?
Why not? Right, I've just flicked up to the start. We've got Clive FPV in the chat, G Law FPV, Spiders in the chat, Rob Britton's in the chat, Nighthawk FPV's in the chat, Sly Old Fox is in the chat, RD FPV is in the chat, Dave Story, Matthew Backer's in the chat, Aries, Green Patches. Who have I missed? Richard Warwick, Jibber Jabber, Drone Racer, Spin Me Good, put your name in there. Mikey Dread, he's always in the chat. Love Mikey Dread. Gigawatts, what's up, Gigawatts? There you go. Just a quick shout out for all our people who join in. Laser Night, yo. There you go.
Cool.
Sorry to interrupt.
So
Davis
you haven't left home then, Kelsey? Just moved rooms, not decided, or like you had to move close to the college or something?
Nah, the college is like a 10-minute bus ride.
It's not too
So,
bad then.
it's not too
She's
bad.
not going to leave home. She gets a dad to drive her everywhere, all over the country
You know
doing
what I
stuff.
mean? Yeah,
That's
but
the
he does
sweet life,
enjoy
isn't
it.
it?
He enjoys it himself, though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Secretly, when Kelsey says, right, we need to go here, he goes, yes.
Kelsey's dad is so cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's an awesome pilot as well.
Yeah, he is.
Like when I was watching those two fly together. Oh, and like they bully each other as well. It was like Jack, I was like, Jack doesn't need to be here because
Jack, quick, defend me. I'm being outdadded here and I'm not happy.
I know. He's the only one true dad.
outdated. Yeah, they were like headlocks and stuff. All that was going on.
I have just seen. I
I'm
was.
Kelsey getting her dad in a headlock, not the other way around.
Really? We all know who the bully is here, don't we?
Yeah, nah. It was cool flying with you guys though. At that was it like an old cheese factory
It's
or
a
something?
bitumen factory, innit?
I have no
I think.
idea.
I think that one's a bitumen factory. There's one nearby, but not too far away. That's a cheese factory.
Cool.
What is bitumen?
Yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, you know all the great spots. And I like every time I see, you put like even just a little snippet on Instagram. I'm like, and then there's just this epic location. There was one I saw on Instagram, and it's just like it looked like cliffs and hills for miles. Have you been like up Peak District, but north or something?
If it was recently, it's probably some of the footage from when we went to Devon and Cornwall.
Oh, really? What? Even with all the, I thought it was pretty flat, Cornwall. Is that not the case?
I don't know. I don't know which.
Apart from the cliffs.
There was one video that you posted, and it was just like such a huge drop, and then just hills and mountains in the background. It was probably a few weeks ago, actually. But so you've been back down to, because you do so much traveling. It's crazy how much traveling. So you've been back. So since we flew, you've been back to Devon again.
Oh no, going back to Devon, I think was actually a couple weeks before we met up.
Ah, right, okay.
I
No,
just
it
got
was
loads of
af-
footage.
it was after we flew. It was after we flew. But what I did say to Andy is because we met up on the Saturday, but then the Sunday we went to BMFA Nationals, and we couldn't have been any further away from a beach, right? And then so we're at the Nationals. I open up Instagram, and there's a picture of Kelsey flying at a beach, and I'm like, you must do so much traveling. We could not have been where we were. We could not have been any further away from a beach. The next day, she's at a beach. I guess the UK is pretty small, but I was like, man, you're at a beach the next day. I was struggling to, be like, just a few more miles away from where we were the last time. The next day, So
Well, I think that was actually, we went to North Wales.
Don't talk to Jack about North Wales.
But we found like a quarry up there and stuff, and then just on sunset we nipped over towards the beach to try and get some sunset flying.
Ah, I wonder if that's the same quarry you went to, Tone.
Mm-mm.
It wasn't, because we went
I
to.
don't think so.
Well, we went to North Wales. Was it near the castle? Was it near Gretsch Castle? Or where that huge castle? But like, was it the quarry near there, or was it somewhere
No,
else?
it was quite close to Snowdonia.
Ah, right.
There's quarries all over North Wales.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
This is what we're really missing down south, and that's a room where, like, I went to Snowdonia, and you can just throw anything up anywhere and just fly around. And B, bandos, because we're sort of prosperous down here and not like third world. Anything that becomes derelict gets built over instantly in other houses and stuff. So we just don't get them.
That happens here. It just happens a bit more slowly. What they do.
Oh,
Greg's just gone crazy with the money.
Greg from Menace RC is just lobbed at €20 in. I don't know what that is in real
You'll have
money.
to set your beer on fire for that one.
Oh no, that's
It's about 20 quid these days, isn't it?
I think you might find that euro is more of a real currency than ours at the moment.
Right, so I've got a
It may be our
Jack,
currency very soon.
a few things for Menace RC. Thank you very much, Greg. There you go. Have you moved? He's lit 3. See if we can get a screenshot of Jack before. Jack, make yourself big so we can screenshot you. Someone take a picture of Jack. Screenshot. Oh, Jack, make yourself big. Oh God, I'll see if I can do it. He's like on fire. Yes, Jack, make it look like 3. That's it, 4. Right, I've got a screenshot I can kind of put on Instagram or something. Thank you, Greg. Hopefully Jack will burn to death in a minute.
That leads me on to a very important announcement.
We are best friends, but yeah.
Menace RC.
Hang on, I've just noticed on YouTube. I'm looking at the the captions. It's hilarious what it's saying. I accidentally turned them on, and it just says Michael shot at the moment.
Just rewatch all your videos with captions on. It's hilarious.
Jack,
is it like the auto-generated captions?
Yeah.
Right.
Greg, yeah.
Important
Announcement: we are the best friends. What?
Right, I've got a.
I'm turning that off. That's messing in my head.
I've got an important announcement. This is a call to action for anyone who watches LDO. And also,
I agree with this.
If you're listening to this on podcast format on iTunes, the link will be included in the description of the podcast, this episode. So, oh man, what the hell? Is there not a... I've got an awful link. But John Atto FPV, Menace, can you post a better link than I've got? Because I need a better link. But John Atto FPV, he's the guy who runs the company of Atto. They were the lovely small mini quads less than 3 inches or
4 inch.
whatever. He's lost everything twice. Last month, John and his partner were victims of an aggravated burglary. They were tied up and threatened with axes. Whilst the intruders took everything of any value, they were left tied up for a long period whilst the intruders moved into a neighbour's property to do the same. This was such a horrific experience for them, and they lost a lot of personal belongings. Whilst John and his partner were getting over this incident and getting back on track, last Thursday a fire broke out in their home, and the fire did not engulf their whole home, but the area where Atto FPV had their stock, and all of John's personal FPV gear was totally destroyed. As all the equipment was in the other builder, the insurance policy did not cover it. John is in a place right now where he's lost his income and lost his hobby. If you know John and think you can help with a little offering to get him back in the air, rebuild his morale, and show them what a decent bunch of that the FPV community is, any amount received will surely make a difference to help change his life. I understand this is not a conventional request where when you're down on your luck and you lost everything, a little support just makes things lost everything. A little support may be just the thing to get over it. So I think I've ruined the end of that bit.
Yeah.
But
No, it was nice. It was nice, Jack. I'm gonna send some money tomorrow morning.
I tried listing it, but I've put it in the chat. The link's in the chat. If you could donate anything, feel free to get in contact with Atto FPV. If you got anything spare, or like equipment or FPV stuff, contact him, offer it.
Well, it's just if everyone just gives a little or whatever they can, it just makes such a difference because it all adds up in the end, doesn't it?
Yeah, if you've got,
it's like your worst nightmare, isn't it? I mean, I think every FPV worries about that, given the not that lipos are volatile when they're doing nothing, but there's always that in the back of your head, isn't there?
I mean, the other thing you can do is if you got something like a full build or an old quad or something, you could list it up on the reselling pages on Facebook and sell it to someone, and whatever money you make off that, donate to John. Anything will be appreciated. I will have a word with Frank, and if we've got any spare money in the LDO account, we'll make a donation. I'm going to make a donation on, I think it's on Tuesday. I think that's payday. Tony, who hit? Oh wait, hang on. Am I the only? Yeah, Tony's self-employed, so Tony won't know. Yeah,
I'm going to do mine tomorrow.
Next Monday. So yeah, I know it's close, but yeah, if you got anything, please give it. Greg from Menace RC is the organizer of this fundraiser, and yeah, if you can help out, guys, I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Because anyone who listens to LDO, you're a good bunch of people. You keep this show running. You stop Frank from murdering me, and me and Tony haven't killed each other yet. So you all deserve a pat on your back. I'm also going to get some LDO decals printed out at some point. So if someone gives
decals, is that the same as a decal? Just so I know.
Yep.
That means sticker if you're not.
Sticker if you're common.
Yeah. Decal. Yeah, I'm going to get a few of those made for wings and stuff. So if anyone gives a particularly large donation with LDO written there, I'll know it's you, and I'll get in contact and give you some stickers. So,
what a horrible thing to happen.
Yeah.
Tied up, probably a bit worse than the fire. I don't know. What is it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Sounds like he's gone through.
Well, you certainly don't need two in a row, do you, like that?
No, not at all.
Oh.
Horrible.
Okay.
Horrible.
Right. So my next segment is I've got
That
a real.
was
Is this the last one?
That should not
Is
be.
this the last one?
That was not a segment. That was just
No. I've got a segment. This is my new segment.
That was
Alright.
a call to action.
It's my new segment is replacing Oi Andy RC Your Northern, and it's
Right.
less offensive. It's called Just the Tip with Jack, and I go through a technical tip each week. You can, if you need help with something, you can go into the email. You can email me justthetipwithjack@gmail.com.
He's made an email
Why-
account.
why is
It's
Kelsey-
actually an email account.
Why is Kelsey laughing? As I want to know.
So
Well, I mean, just the fucking name. I swore, editor, sorry.
So my first tip is JST connectors. I hate them, but they don't hold much current. Well, they don't hold any current. They pass current.
Do you know what they're rated to?
No, I should know because it's my tip section.
I won't-
You
I-
own it,
I
Jack.
won't-
Don't let Andy take it over.
I won't
Quick.
start
Is
ripping
it
on
is
your.
it 15 amp?
I won't start ripping on your tip then, Jack. No, you carry on.
No, teach me about my tip.
I think I read somewhere that it might be 30, but that sounds too high, doesn't it? So 15 is
That sounds
probably.
too
Yeah.
high.
Yeah, let's Google it.
Yeah, so yeah, there might be a lot of googling with just the tip with Jack. But anyway,
Also
Yeah, but
known
be
as Ask
careful-
Google with
Be
Jack.
careful googling just the tip though, because you don't want to do that.
it's my new. It's. Oh, Andy RC's muted.
I'm mute.
Oh no,
Oh,
yeah,
you
you-
know.
No,
yeah.
no, I'm not muted. I
So
don't think.
What's up, Mondo, FBB?
right,
Just join the chat.
JST connectors were fine on low amp things, like the little 2S micro quads from several years ago all used to come with the JSTs, and they seemed okay.
so my tip is at Radio C. We used to sell these, and they came in different polarities. So I believe the correct polarity is the negative terminal plugs in, and there's a little number, and it should be plugged into number 1, and number 2 is the positive. And I just wanted to say to you guys, how do you guys run your polarity of these? Can you check? Have you got any nearby?
No.
Generally, does the red go to the red, and that's all I care about. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
I could answer that one, but I'm just. It says here that they're only rated for 3 amps. That
3
sounds-
amps.
3 amps, but voltage. 3 amps at 250. What? 3 amp? That can't. Why would they list it as that? Hang on. Let me. It's got.
Yeah.
What am I looking for on this
Look.
this bit, Jack?
I
So
don't
tell
know
me.
whether that is numbered. That side.
It says 2. There is a 2 and a 1.
Because JST, there's loads of different. That's called.
One is negative, 2 is positive. Apparently.
Jib-
We have a
Jibber-
successful
Jibber-
quad here.
Oh, wait, Jibber
The right
Jabber in the
numbering.
chat says my tip is not to use them on planes unless you want to fire. That's Jibber Jabber's tip.
Well, the only reason you'd get a fire is if you bought ones that didn't have silicon wires. If you've got ones with silicon wires, you shouldn't technically get a fire.
Really? Really though?
Yeah. And
You
they're
shouldn't, but
sexed.
you'd be surprised with what you can accomplish with a bit of effort.
They got to be more than 3 amps because, like, on those little, they
These
came
used to
up.
pull more than 3 amps. These used to pull about 3 amps per motor, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But what polarity is that one then?
This is the correct polarity. Number 1 is negative, and number 2 is.
But you can't just call them a JST connector. Because
That's what's written on it.
It's written on it, literally. It says JST. I'm calling it JST connector.
Yeah, but-
Or
I think we've
KOI.
identified that correctly.
But there's so many different variations of
KCY?
a JST connector. RC, it's called. It's a JST RCY, but you've got loads of different
Yeah,
JST.
they're the little red ones that look like boobs at the end.
This is well boring segment.
This is a.
Is
Your
this handy,
Your segment's falling apart,
useful
Jack.
information?
Rubbish.
Hands up who wishes the tip just meant knob.
Well,
That would
it
have
can't
been
be all our minds.
That would have been much more interesting.
Um,
Jack. Tell us about your progress.
And
I'm
then
just
the other
kidding.
thing I can say is don't lick the end. And
This is great. This.
And you can also, hot tip, if you get a pair of crimpers, you can
A hot tip, have you?
yeah, you can crimp your own.
There's cream for that.
What polarity is this? So that's the.
There's a number written on it, on the front of it.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah. What does the number mean then?
We number 1 is negative, number 2 is
Oh.
positive.
So it goes 1 and 2. 1 is black, 2 is red.
Yep.
Is that
Racist.
so? Is that normal?
Wow. This is well good. I'm tuning in next week. For...
I've got to say, the best thing about that segment is the name. After that, it went a little bit downhill.
It definitely did. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, also JST. No one's used those for about a year, so.
What a
like-
Well,
James
that's my
Temple.
next tip. Don't use them. Use XT30s. There you go.
Well, you should have just said that, like, literally, we would have, mind you, it made up
Oh,
about
Chris
15
E.
minutes of content.
Chris E says that JST connector, Japanese solderless terminal.
Ah, there you go.
Oh, look at Chris E to the rescue. Oh,
Thank
you
you,
legend.
Chris.
You lovely, lovely man. So, do you want to do the last segment? Seeing as we're at the end of the show,
Who are you talking to?
all of you.
Not the end of the
No
show.
one
It's the
knows
last
what the
segment.
last segment is.
Oh yeah, we
You
started
just
15
made it
minutes
up.
late.
You've kept it quiet about
You,
what the
like,
last
made
segment
it
is.
up and
You've just
said
said, I've
you
got
wanna-
3 new
you wanna
segments.
do the
Yeah,
last
yeah,
segment
we'll
that I
we'll
haven't
give it a
told
bit.
you.
We'll give it a bit.
Is the last segment some sort of mind reading where we have to figure out what the last segment
No,
is?
I'll reveal it. I'll reveal it like later.
What,
But-
later
That's
when
what she said once again.
later we've got 15 minutes and then we're going.
Mm.
I think we should talk to our guest a bit more.
Yeah, we've had 5 minutes with Frank.
Yeah, don't. I think we've established that Kelsey has excellent taste in positioning her quads on the wall, and that's good enough for me.
And
Approve.
she sat right in the middle of them as well.
She's doing everything right.
It's almost
well done,
like there's-
Kelsey.
It's like there's a halo of quads around her head. That's what it looks,
I like
that's what
that.
it looks
I'm
like.
super jealous because all my stuff's over there on that wall, and you can't see it, and it's all
Yeah, for
higgledy
someone
piggledy.
who's got OCD, look behind you.
It's somewhat selective. I don't think I've got OCD. All you guys
I
tell me
think
about it.
you've got OCD.
Only certain things trigger me. What can I tell you?
Oh yeah, man.
Do you fly all those quads, or are some of them just
She
for
can't fly
show?
them all at the same time, surely.
Yeah, well, of course not, Jack. But I mean, do you fly? Have you got like a favorite?
Well, a lot of these are like frames that have been sent and like frames that have been stripped as well. So a lot of them are just like empty frames. I've
Oh,
got a
okay.
Menace frame there that's not got any motors on
What,
just yet, but I
that
have flown
smear?
it and it is really good. Yeah, I know.
So the big question is, Kelsey, if you got another frame on its own,
Where are you gonna put it?
where are you going to put it? How can you make that
She's gotta
symmetrical
wait
if it's
for
just
2.
one? Or are you going
Yeah,
to put it down the
wait for
middle?
2 before it goes.
You could put it down the middle underneath the others or above the micros on the top, I suppose. That would even things out okay.
Kels, can you upload
Yeah.
a photo of your wall to your Instagram?
What the fuck? Was you burping at the
And
same time?
hiccuping
there?
at the same time. It was weird.
That's a good point. That looked cool on Instagram.
Yeah, I probably will post something about it.
Look, she's got a menace patch as well.
Oh, Mako's in the chat and she's saying she didn't stand you up, Tony.
Oh, are you are you out of school? Do you want to come on, Mako?
I thought we were.
Like 15 minutes.
So, you like Mako?
We all love Mako.
Final
Oh,
Fantasy 7 remake's
she's-
coming out soon.
She's Instagramming now. I wish I liked you. I like look at Kelsey's Instagram. I'm like, how on earth has she done that?
Give her
Like-
the link.
She's like got a green screen or something to do that stuff. How does that work? And then she's pointing at stuff. Swipe up for.
Yeah, what's all that about?
How does
The
it-
gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember how Dad did it now. There's like an app where you can make your own gifts and like
Ah,
copy and
so-
paste them over.
So
Sweet.
that's it. I'd love to be able
How
to do.
do I
that.
get hold of those gifts?
Malk seems to be the equivalent of Danny, where you can just like demand he does stuff, and he just does it, and Kelsey reaps the benefits. A bit like how Tony
So
makes Danny
Yeah,
build
that's
everything, and you can't leave until it's finished.
it's Tony's birthday, right?
No.
And we all know Danny doesn't
Not
watch
yet.
this. But for your birthday, I'm gonna go see the printer tomorrow. I was thinking about getting a T-shirt made that said "Tony's bitch," and on the back of it, "If found, please retain and call this number 0755555." Property of Tony. Property of Tone Star. Do you?
I just heard Dad's voice, and all of a sudden the door just
What? Oh, Mal,
the door just cracked
Is
open.
Malk behind there?
Mal, come out. That's
Is
creepy.
it just?
I think
Is
he's
it
not
just?
hiding.
Is it
He's
just
got a spare
peeking?
pair of goggles, like not goggles, spare
Come
pair of
on.
headphones trailing out through the door.
Come out.
Is he doing a bit of peeking?
That's not the
There
door.
we
That's the
go.
closet.
That's
Like,
the
get
dungeon.
in there and feed
The
Tom.
door doesn't look
Get up there and make some gifts. Don't come out till it's done.
Oh, Kelsey stopped being a blob now. It says FPV Live on the thing. I couldn't see that before. It's just a blob. Oh, I can see everything really clearly now.
Wait,
Yeah.
is it
Wow.
cleared up?
Yeah. It's got,
Have you
yeah.
turned your iPad off?
Oh my God! Look how hot.
Oh,
Look how
everything's
hairy your
been turned
eyebrows are.
off.
Oh, we can see you now.
What
Yeah.
happened there?
Maybe it's Dad. He's just walked in.
Like one big
That's like a walking Wi-Fi.
Don't leave. Stay
You know
there.
what's gonna happen now?
So-
Wayne's gonna scrutinize this because I'm now
I'm
seeing.
having a. I may have maximised the window, and I'm having a look round the stuff now just to make sure everything's lined up
lined
nicely.
up.
I was gonna say I can see one that's not quite lined up, and I reckon Wayne's gonna have you for that.
Which one?
I think it's that white one above FPV Life. Looks a
Yeah.
little bit
No,
slanted.
that's,
Yeah, that's
that's
why we
fine.
did-
It's
that's why we
the
did
one
the
with the.
micros
Oh,
at
she's
the top.
just gone
It's all
Siri
gone
again.
potato again.
Ah, that's a shame.
No,
Something
no,
else.
It's the one with the
No.
yellow props above it that's slightly off compared to the white one, I think.
Right, I from the top left, name them all. Go.
Name them all.
Yeah, top left. Point to it and tell us what it's called. No,
Yeah,
No,
up,
don't get
Malcolm,
the slave
up.
to do it. You do it yourself.
Chameleon.
No, up the top. Top.
The
Like
top.
the
What's wrong
quad.
with you people? They are pointing to the middle. Well
No.
done, Malcolm. That is the top one.
No.
Top left.
Okay.
Go.
Hang
Top
on,
left.
I'm just
Top left.
editing the.
Top left.
He had it. Yes. Yes. Okay, go from there.
All right.
X-ray.
Atmospheric Adventures X-Frame. Then we've got
Yeah.
the Mini Mac in the middle. Then there's another Atmospheric Adventures there.
Stretch X.
That's a Stretch X one there.
Ah, so yeah, they got
Then
it.
the top row we've got Chameleon, Sexy Mini Quads. That was Jay's first frame that everyone signed for me. The GVD quad. The one with the titanium arms. I really can't remember the name of it.
Oh, that's not.
What does DVD quad? What's DVD quad mean? Sorry to interrupt.
GVD. Good Venture Drones.
Oh,
It was
sorry. I thought you said DVD quad. I was like,
actually-
what? I
It
got
was
you.
a pre-built one that they built for me.
Cool.
No, the one.
No,
That's in the pond.
we don't want to
That's
talk
the one
about
you
that
built.
one.
Skip that.
Schizo Dark Matter. Chameleon, Quad Racer Freestyle Frame.
GVD.
That's another GVD one.
It's the race.
Yeah. The Nova, KC250, another Nova, Flynoceros, Menace, Physics Frame. That's the one that Paul built for Mom. That I can't remember the name of. And then that is the one that Three Fly sent to me.
So are any of the ones that you fly actually up there then?
No.
No, it's just yeah. I
We've got more frames.
like the FPV light thing though. Did you make that yourself with the lights and stuff?
Yeah, Mom actually sanded down the quad and she did the print on it.
That's
For me.
wicked. I like that.
Cool.
I'm
And then we've
still
got, like,
hearing
phones
every
around it.
time you say, "And did you do that?" It's like mum or dad. It's like slaves. the parents of the slaves here. What have you done, Kelsey? What have you done towards that wall?
That's why she's in the top 20, because she does all the flying, and they do what they, you know, they're
I do
the.
all my building.
Well, there you
Yeah.
go.
Well, you got to do another
say anything about that.
father and daughter build video. I found that hilarious. I loved every minute of it.
That was hilarious. Yeah,
Yeah, really fun.
that was great.
Need of playing a lot of electronics first. Maybe Payday.
The shark from the video. Oh no.
This is what it's like hanging out with these two. They just like they've got like these in jokes, and all they need to do is like look at each other, and like they've got this like.
I was once on
We've
an
got inside
after call where everyone left and we were like I was hanging out with these two. I was just chatting to Kels. I was like, "Hey, how you been? Like, how's school?" And that. Having a normal conversation, and then Mount sat next to her. And then we were chatting a little bit more, and then all of a sudden, I asked Malk something, and then she just punches him in the face, just randomly. Like, I was like, "What the?"
I think she was probably heading towards you and missed you.
No, I was on like old Google Hangouts. Yeah, I was just like, "Oh, Mount, you know, how you doing, Mount?" And she just goes like that across his face.
Where's
and
he
then
gone?
they just start fighting each other.
Oh,
He's
there he is.
there.
Did Tom escape or did you let him out?
Did Tom escape or did we let him out? Apparently we killed or kidnapped Tom
No,
Smith.
you did. Not we, you.
Well, I apparently, not you.
Like some sort of sick pet.
Like some sort of sick pet. Oh
We'll
my God.
eat stuff to your dad.
I'm the girl who flies FPV. Get in the cupboard, Tom. I've got a knife.
You don't have to repeat that to your dad.
Yeah, please don't.
Go.
I'll have you know, I've never kidnapped or killed anyone.
That's right. She sends Malk to do the dirty work.
Yeah,
Tom,
Dad does that.
you're all mine. Tom, if you're watching this, I'm really sorry, mate.
Tom's definitely not watching this, Jack.
Yeah.
Probably not. I would imagine. It'd be cool if he did. You tried to get him on the show a couple of times, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, we asked him a million times, but no.
Him,
I reckon.
RC Model
if we-
Reviews, and
I'd
Simon
love to.
Dale.
I'd like to get Steel.
Go up to Tom Smith and get a tattoo of LDO on one of us, and then yeah, that would be a good episode, wouldn't it? Someone gets LDO tattooed on their butt, Jack, and we can interview.
I think you should have L and D so that when you bend over, it spells LDO.
That's where I'm coming from.
Tony can
Kelsey,
just
stop
force,
laughing at that.
Danny into that one, obviously.
Oh dear.
Can we
Yeah, I
talk to
set
Danny?
Daddy up for that.
He did say LOD once instead of LDO, but that's the only way that I'd work, Jack.
Oh yeah.
It's
Just write LD on one cheek.
LDO.
And just write LD on one cheek and rules on the other. And if people say, what is it? You can just bend over and show them the rest.
How much? Because Tony's got tattoos. How much of a donation would it take for Tony to get LDO tattooed on his bum?
Well, I don't know, 100 quid. Oh shit! I'm short there, and I.
The tattoo will cost more than 100 quid.
Tony just got confused. That's just his going rate for his bum on
All right,
normal
so
occasions.
if I donate,
I'm not doing it on my arse.
Oh, I think he does protest too much once again.
so if I donate £100 to Atto, you'll get LDO tattooed on your ass.
No, because I'm seeing none of the money. Half the money to him, half to
Oh,
me.
what you? This whole house burned.
Oh,
it
that's
got
just
robbed
selfish,
and burned
Tony.
down.
He always has to have.
Like I'm got to have LDO on my arse forever.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. That's worse than the house fire.
You're friends with me for the rest of your life. That's got to be
Exactly.
worse.
Exactly. That is why I definitely need half. At Timestar FPV you pay, I will do it. Look, Mikey Dread said he'd do it. LDO. Mikey Dread would have LDO tattoo. If we
Mi-
put in some money,
Mikey.
what do you reckon?
What? So I'll donate and then you pay Mikey Dread.
Hold on, how's this work out?
Well, we're trying to
Atto
raise
gets
money for
100 quid,
Atto.
which is fair enough. I'm up for that.
I will, Jack.
Are you serious, Tone? Would actually get an LDO tattoo?
Mate, if
No,
you've got
I've
an
just
LDO...
put it onto Mikey Dread.
Oh right.
One of our best patrons said he would.
I'll
if
send you the
pay, I'll
artwork.
do it.
Mikey, email me.
Oh, mate, shall we do this? Shall we?
You can't do that because let's just say for whatever reason the show has to stop. Someone's got a tattoo of LDO on their arse.
Yeah,
for the
but
rest of their
LDO could
life.
mean anything. Likes organic dogs.
No, because that's LOD again.
Oh.
Jack.
You're so dyslexic, man.
I mean, think about it. In the future of Tony's life, how many people are seriously going to see his ass? Maybe one or two.
really.
What's the big deal?
Yeah.
It's
Jack-
a talking point.
Jack, you could have gone with likes dicks often or something like that. That had been a good one.
Yeah.
Organic dogs.
Organic dogs. What did you say? Organic dogs? What?
Yeah. Likes organic dogs. LOD.
Idiot.
Um,
Right. Mikey Dread, are you going to get it done? So let's do this.
Someone get it done, and then it looks like I'm donating £100 to Atto. Right, so the last segment, because it's the end of the show, and
Oh, this is 4 then. You said there was only 3.
there's three. We've had
Okay.
5
This
minutes
is the
with
third
Frank,
segment.
just a tip with Jack, and the last one is story time with Andy RC.
What?
He doesn't need any further encouragement.
No,
surely.
wait. Right, here you go. Next
We've done my
segment,
story
time with Andy RC. Go.
We've done story time. I did it
Tell
at
a
the start.
story.
What?
Tell a story.
Well, I told the story at the start with
Another story.
I haven't got any. I'm boring.
Right.
Oh, okay, right. Here's a story.
Well, this is the end of the show. Thank you, guys. You've been listening to Let's Drone Out. You're joined by my little Tony,
Bonjour.
Kelsey
I've got
FTV,
a story.
Hi.
It's a very short story.
McCurry Kitten.
Bye.
Bye. Andy RC.
Bastards.
I want
Did
to
you-
hear it now.
I feel
No,
like
if
you've
you
taken that
want
one
to
off
hear the
Jimmy
story,
Kimmel.
we're doing a bonus podcast. Donate $3 to our Patreon. Patreon.com/Let's Drone Out. Thank you,
I'm
guys.
sure I could think of a story.
And
somehow.
I've been bright until I fly.
I need to get another beer. If we're
You've been
doing
listening to Let's Drone Out. Thank you and good night. See you over by Patreon. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Kelsey.
No problem.
Kelsey rule.